there is this event that happens where everyone from the entire world, think about this biblically, people from all over the entire world, different nations, different politicians from different nations, all gather together in one place for a certain event. And it's supposed to be about sports. It's supposed to be about athletics. And instead, you get to witness an opening ceremony, a ritual. Why is there always a ceremony when you go to watch a sporting event, whether it's the Super Bowl or the Olympics? Why is there always a ceremony? We're going to look into what that word means. I'm not just making this word up. It is literally called an opening ceremony. You can look up the articles that says the Winter Olympics opening ceremony. There's also a reason why it's held in the winter. This is all about bringing back the sun. The pagan traditions, the pagan rituals are about when death is happening in the wintertime. They had the promise of the evergreen tree. This is why you have this at Christmas time and stuff. It's about sun worship. It's about a promise that the sun will return when everything seems to be dying and death is everywhere. But you see, this is called an opening ceremony. Why is that so important? What's the big deal about a ceremony? Well, by definition, a ceremony is a formal religious occasion. Notice the second one says the ritual. So it is literally a religious ritual. That's what a ceremony is. So why are people sitting around, thousands in the stadium, participating in a religious ritual while millions around the world are consenting to this and applauding it and being entertained by it for days? This thing goes on while the entire world is consenting to this. Think about how deep that is on a spiritual level, because like we've talked about, Satan can only do what he's allowed to do. He has to play by the rules and he has to have consent. We have to give him an open door. So when we are watching these things, we are consenting. And no, I did not watch it at all. I skimmed through to find exactly what I was looking for, and I'm never watching this garbage. This is going to be a dance where you see an angel lighting up, and he doesn't look very holy, does he? He's got this kind of dark countenance about him, and all around him you see these people that are dressed in gray. I don't want this to get flagged. I'm going to skim through here. They're supposed to represent these statues. Notice these busts that are all around. These are Greek gods that are the bust. And you see this angel. The only focus is an angel and a woman. And the angel, he's looking for his victim. And he goes into the box where he sees this woman. Think of the Garden of Eden. And he begins to seduce her. And these gods that looked like these gray gods have awakened, and they're dancing around. And now he's dancing with the woman. And you'll see that he begins to possess her. He's the one in control. As you see this strange thing happening right here. What was that? Did you notice? The one-eye symbolism. This is not normal, guys. This isn't just like, oh, that would be an interesting thing if I covered my eye with my hand. This is giving their allegiance. They are signaling to the entire watching world, we are Satanists, we are Luciferian, and we are summoning our Savior. In that arena was this bust of Mithra. And you can see on the right, that's an actual bust of Mithra. Who is he? In Greco-Roman syncretism, particularly during the 1st century BCE to 4th century CE, the Persian deity Mithra was frequently equated or combined with the Greek god Apollo, as well as Helios and Hermes as a singular powerful solar deity. This is all about sun worship. You're going to see it over and over. This is all about sun worship, like I just got through saying. There was a scientist who had interaction with CERN scientists, and they were admitting to her that CERN is a portal that has allowed a deity to come through and sit at their table and leave a scarf and take a scarf and all kinds of crazy stuff. And CERN was, when it was first built, they had these meetings at Apollo's temple. Why is everything revolving around Apollo, sun worship? These ritualistic dances trying to summon something into our world manifest. This is what's been going on for years now. And an occultist named Alice Bailey wrote a book called The Externalization of the Hierarchy. And she predicted, because she was a channeler, she was told by Satan and his fallen angels that in the year 2025 would be the externalization of the hierarchy, that it would be a gradual procession where spiritual entities would begin to manifest in our world. And now we are building, using our technology for evil to open up portals for demonic entities to come into our world and have these ceremonies where literally the entire world is gathering together in one place and doing a ritualistic dance to summon the sun god. This goes deeper. Watch this. How are they going to signal right in front of people unless they kind of disguise it, right? So we already saw the one eye symbolism. Now you have this woman come out and she's going to pretend to be struggling with sign language. And the first sign you'll see is one that you probably all, that's an interesting little move there, kind of a serpentine wiggle there. And then the first sign she does is what? The 666 sign, right? Perfect. She does the 666 hand sign. Then as she continues, she says it's not working. She's doing some other hand signs. She's praying, good heavens. And then what does she do? Look at this. Why is she doing the horns? Upside down, the horns. This is all signaling. They're telling you who they serve. And then there's cussing going on. So I just want to show you that there's nothing decent or innocent about this ceremony that they're literally telling you is a ceremony. Now here is a video where they're walking you through history. And so it's taking you through a timeline, and this is following this woman, and it's going through the 50s and the 60s and all that. And then it finally gets to the end here where she looks kind of futuristic and she runs out onto the stage. Now, what is going on with the stage? This is a portal. And notice the center looks like a swastika. That's on purpose because that is an ancient symbol of the sun. Again, notice the colors that are represented here. It's all blue right now. Right now it's blue, but that's going to change, and it's all for a purpose. So the stage looks like a portal. They're doing the ritualistic dances. And I hope I have it on the next scene here. Maybe it's here. Listen to what they says right here about what they're about to do.
Trip through the last century, the Winter Games, on our way eventually to the lighting of the cauldrons.
The lighting of the cauldrons. So right now the stage is blue. It's this portal with the symbol of the sun in the middle. Again, sun worship. And they're about to light the cauldrons, they said. All right, now here's the next scene as we see a little girl looking at the sun. She's literally hypnotized by the sun. Are you guys seeing the pattern? This is not just me making something out of nothing. I can't make something out of nothing. She's literally gazing at the sun. And then one of these female astronauts come out. What does an astronaut have to do with the Olympics? I'm confused here. Is this the ISS? Is this the Olympics? Or what is this? It's all propaganda. This whole brainwashing about, be obsessed with space and the planets and the sun is so huge and look how big it is on this model. And so even you hear the little girl, she's talking about, 50 billion years ago, the sun was built or created. So there again, propaganda of evolution. And so the astronaut lady leads her to this stage and she's mesmerized. She's looking around, and this swirling portal. And notice you see the Saturn rings everybody is dressed in the rings of Saturn. All of this is paganism, planetary worship. And then the girl runs out to the center all happily, right into the center of this portal. Now notice things are starting to change. The colors are turning red. We're going to look into what is the reason of this blue to red shift that's happening at this ceremony. Where did this ceremony happen? It happened at the Arch of Peace in Italy, and it has Apollo engraved on the archway. Now, these archways aren't just these beautiful pieces of artistic expression. There is a purpose for them. If you look into the definition of what these things are, I can do it real quick on the fly. Let's check it out. Arch constructions hold deep spiritual significance across cultures, symbolizing thresholds between the temporal and divine worlds, strength and transformation. It's always about transformation, rising out of the ashes, shifting from the old order to the new order. They act as symbolic doorways to sacred spaces, representing the transition from the profane to the holy, often evoking themes of rebirth. That's the whole phoenix rising out of the ashes, protection, and the journey towards higher transcendent reality. Keep this in mind because this is going to occur over and over and over in this presentation. A transcending to a higher state of consciousness. So these archways that are all over the world, we're about to get one in DC called the Arc of Trump, and it's the same thing. This is a doorway inviting spiritual entities into our world. This is what's about to happen in very short time. We are about to get rid of the human politicians of the world because the Epstein files are coming out. We're finding out everybody's corrupt. We're losing faith in everything, and we're about to be ruled by spiritual entities. That's what's about to happen. That's what the externalization of the hierarchy is. This is where this ceremony was held. It's about bringing spiritual beings into a physical realm, and it's about ascending. You're going to keep seeing that over and over. Listen again about the cauldron.
Design of that cauldron.
So there under the archway, you see the light bearer. He represents Lucifer holding the torch. And what is he doing? He's taking it to the man and the woman. This is not just pulled out of a hat. This is all symbolic. This represents Adam and Eve. This represents humanity as a whole. And he's going to give them the torch. And why did they just call it a cauldron? They're lighting this cauldron. What does a cauldron symbolize? I didn't even use the word occult, witchcraft, anything. What does a cauldron symbolize? It symbolizes transformation, rebirth, divine feminine, all these things that are being pushed on us in this current era. Acting as a vessel, it says it's to destroy or change. We're going to destroy this old order and bring in the new order. It's a Celtic myth. They do it in Celtic mythology and witchcraft. It's an element of water. We talked about that in the CERN video, that everything is about water right now and fire. And it has to do with alchemical change, meaning changing one element into another. Lead into gold. You look this stuff up. This is the scientific world says that they have figured out alchemy now, and they can turn lead into gold. And Trump's saying we're in the golden age, and Alice Bailey's saying that we're in the age of Aquarius. All this stuff is happening right now. This is real. And so he hands the torch to the man and the woman. And this is kind of a slow process right here, but they begins to ascend. And I was watching, I was like, why is this taking so long? This is not just like they don't have enough technology or hydraulics or whatever. This is purposeful. This is a ceremony, like they say. It's a ritual. Why is this man and this woman slowly ascending up to this star? I see a blue circle with a star inside. It's a pentagram, and it's facing upright. Notice the color is blue. The occult symbolism of ascending, like they were doing, is about the soul's journey towards higher consciousness, divine union, and transcendence of the ego. It's a shift from the material attachments to spiritual awakening and enlightenment, moving from a lower, denser state to a lighter, higher vibrational state. This is going to, the evidence is building. We're talking about transcendence. We're talking about summoning a solar deity. We're talking about ascending and awakening and enlightening and moving from the old order to the new order through this higher vibrational state. Everything at the opening ceremony was just that. So they finally make it to the top. They stick the torch in the cauldron. That's what they called it. I don't know why it's called a cauldron, but there's the fire happening. And what happens? It turns red. It grows and expands. And then what does it look like? I don't have to tell you what that is a symbol of. I hope not. It should be pretty obvious. That is clearly an inverted pentagram. And so what does it mean to transition from blue to red in the occult? This is about alchemy. It's a fundamental shift from mental, passive, or heavenly states. Think about Lucifer was in heaven, right? Into an active, physical, and transformative power. So we're talking about spiritualness coming into the physical. And at the bottom, you see it says, or the spirit realm. So blue represents the rational, intellectual, or spiritual realm, while red represents the physical, passionate, and instinctual body. The shift from blue to red symbolizes bringing divine or mental ideas into tangible earthly existence. This is all about manifestation, bringing spiritual entities manifest into our physical world. That is soon to come, and everything is pointing to that. In prophecy and esoteric writings, you can see the inverted pentagram right there under the archway with fireworks blowing off, and they're painting the whole archway red. It went from blue to red. And here's an up-close picture where you can see the clear inverted pentagram, just like on the image right here on the right. This isn't a reach. This isn't a stretch. This isn't making something out of nothing. This is exactly what is happening, and they're not even hiding it anymore because Satan doesn't have to hide. He's been desensitizing us over the years through entertainment, making it look like fun and, oh, witchcraft is cool, Harry Potter, all this stuff, to the point where now they can have a ritualistic ceremony televised to millions of people around the world and nobody bats an eye. And we are all consenting to, yes, we consent for Satan to be our new Christ, our Messiah, to enter into our world, and we will embrace you because the whole structure is collapsing and we're all desperate for a savior. And here you see that astronaut lady giving the sun to the little girl in the middle of the symbol of the sun portal as the ritualistic dancers are dancing around with the rings of Saturn. This is so in your face, it's crazy. As you can see, the swastika is not just this symbol of hate that Hitler made it. This symbol has existed it's one of the oldest known symbols in history. And it's found all over the world, not just in Germany, not just in Asia, all over the world, and it represents the sun. And that's exactly what you see this little girl standing on, the swastika sun symbol portal. The ceremony ended with Mariah Carey, and they're bringing her in. And Aubrey did an episode about frequencies and music and how these high frequencies actually put you in a trance-like state, and it's used in the occult to summon deities, and it's called a Siren. This is a Siren practice of witchcraft, and here she is, televised to millions, doing that call. And so here you'll see it says, yes, within occult, shamanic, and esoteric traditions, singing, including high-pitched vocalizations, chanting, or shrill sounds, is used as a technique to invoke, summon, or communicate with deities and spirits. Sound is believed to create specific vibrations that can alter consciousness and bridge the gap between the physical and spiritual realms. That's what's happening. That's what she's doing. And thousands of people are willfully there being entertained by this siren as she's doing the ritual, summoning these beings, putting everyone in a trance and connecting the gap between the physical and the spiritual realm. Shamanic and ritual use. Shamanic practitioners often use specific, often high-pitched or repetitive. You just heard both. She did that high-pitched scream over and over and over. Chants to summon guardian spirits or power animals. Similarly, in some traditions, high-pitched sounds are used to attract or commune with specific entities. Vibrational frequency. Occult studies often posit that different musical notes and pitches correspond to different energetic frequencies. High-pitched sounds are sometimes used to raise energy or correspond with specific spiritual, elemental, or divine forces. Ritual tools. In Wiccan and ceremonial magic, high-pitched instruments like bells and chimes are frequently used to invoke the goddess or other deities as these sounds are believed to banish negativity and create an atmosphere suitable for divine presence. Chanting and mantras, repetitive, sustained, high-pitched vocalizations are used to enter trance states, allowing the practitioner to connect with or summon the presence of a deity. So we're seeing the same repetitious thing, right? We're seeing the same pattern over and over, that this is all about reaching a higher state of consciousness, summoning a deity into our present realm, and getting everyone in the audience to consent to that and agree with that. And listen to the words that she says at the end of this song. Nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. She keeps repeating this phrase over and over and over about nothing is impossible. And it made me think immediately of Genesis and the Tower of Babel. Do people from all over the world come to this Olympics ceremony? Yes. The Olympics strive to unite the world's nations in a single spirit of friendship, solidarity, and fair play, acting as a rare, temporary pause in global geopolitical divisions. While the games promote peace, they do not eliminate political tension entirely, though they foster mutual respect and inclusion. So the whole object of these games that are played, and you can go to Olympics.com. We did a video specifically on the Olympics, and on their website, they will tell you the origin of the Olympics. These are games to Apollo. They're ritualistic games to appease Apollo. Over and over, we keep seeing Apollo. And it says the Olympic truce based on ancient tradition. This initiative urges the peaceful settlement of conflicts with the UN recognizing the games as a symbol of tolerance and cooperation. It even gets into the symbolic unity of the 5 rings representing the inhabited continents, feature colors found in nearly all national flags symbolizing global unity. So what does this take us to? The Tower of Babel, where all nations came together in unity. And was it good or was it bad? Did God say, oh, I'm so glad that all the world is united together in peace? No, read the story. They all came together and they did this wicked act of building a tower to heaven because they said, we don't need God. We don't need your laws. We'll get to heaven ourselves. We'll build a tower to heaven, just like Satan said, I will ascend to the heights of the cloud. I don't need you, God. I can do it on my own. And what does God say in Genesis 11:6? It says, and the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. Nothing is impossible. That's what Mariah Carey was singing as she was singing these high-pitched notes repetitively, putting the audience in a trance. The whole world is uniting together, consenting at this ritualistic ceremony where everything about it was symbolizing the sun, deity coming into our world, and we're welcoming and ushering in that deity. I hope this was eye-opening to you. If it was, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps get this video out into the algorithm. Please share this with family and friends because a lot of people just have no clue. They're watching this stuff because it's just entertainment, it's tradition, whatever. Let them see the truth because we are in the last days and it's time to stop playing around. We cannot have one foot in the world and one foot in the church. We need to be all in for Christ, 100%. Jesus said, if you're not with me, you're against me. There's no gray area. There's no being on the fence. You're either 100% sold out for Christ or you're with the world. And Jesus says, because you're lukewarm, you're neither hot nor cold, I'll vomit you out of my mouth. He'll say, many people will say, Lord, Lord, didn't we do all these great things in your name? We claim to be Christian. He said, I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness. Those of you who are being entertained by the wickedness of this world. And Romans 1:32 says, not only those that do such evil acts are worthy of death, but those who take pleasure in them that do them. Meaning you don't have to practice witchcraft if you're being entertained by it, like watching Harry Potter. You are being entertained by the things that God calls an abomination and a sin and wickedness. You're just as guilty as doing it yourself because you're taking pleasure in it. When we're watching these things, we're giving our spiritual consent, we're taking pleasure in them, and it displeases God, and we will not be found innocent in the last days. And God is coming back. Christ is returning, looking for his spotless bride. And he told a parable of 10 virgins, and they all fell asleep. All of us have fallen asleep because Satan, as the god of this world, he's deceived the entire world, it says. But 5 of those virgins woke up. They woke up and they had enough Holy Spirit oil to make it to the wedding. And they were found worthy to be accepted by their groom. And the other 5 did not. The other 5 fell asleep. They didn't have enough oil. They begged the righteous, please let us have some of yours. And they said, we can't give you ours, or we'll not have enough. Do not be found in that number of sleeping virgins when we're so close to the end, guys. There's nothing this world has to offer that's worth missing out on what God has to offer us. Eternal life with him in a perfect kingdom. Not this satanic world that we're in, that's full of pain and satanic rituals. I don't want to live here. This is not my home. I'm longing for the day he returns, and I pray that you all will be ready when he comes as well. That's my prayer. I love you guys. I thank you guys for being here. If you want to support this ministry, you can do so by going to CandidTruthOrg. We have lots of ways to give. We have Cashapp, Venmo, Zelle, PayPal, and we even have Patreon. If you like cool merchandise like the hoodie I'm wearing or some of these t-shirts, we get about $5 on every sale from these, and it really helps our ministry. If you would like to invite us to come to your event, your school, your youth group, your church, we will give presentations at your church. You can book us on our website. We would love to come. Last year was crazy busy. We went all over the U.S. and even different parts of the world. We would love to come visit you and your church. We cannot do this without you. We thank you so much for your love and support. We will see you next time on Candid Truth.